Columbine Lake is a majestic blue alpine lake located high in the mountains of the San Juan National Forest, Colorado. Today we're going to hike 8.3 miles round trip together and see what lies in store for us at this one-of-a-kind, off-the-beaten-path natural gem. My name is Mauricio, and I'm an explorer and adventurer. And although I love hiking, I'm not exactly what you would call a seasoned hiker or mountaineer, especially not at 13,000 plus feet of elevation, far from my hometown in Houston, Texas. In this video, however, my friends and I will nonetheless still be attempting to hike up to Columbine Lake, a hike that most references categorize as strenuous and or difficult. Are we crazy? Maybe. This is the story of our hike up to Columbine Lake. We reached the trailhead around 7:30 a.m. and the very limited parking spots right at the trailhead, maybe about 4 of them, were already taken. So we had to park about half a mile away from the trailhead, slightly adding to what would already be quite a long, steep hike up the mountain. The trail is beautiful, starting off in the dense, vibrant trees of the San Juan National Forest. We did this hike in August, so although the day started off a little chilly, it warmed up quickly to a comfortable temperature. The Columbine Lake hike wastes no time in gaining elevation. However, after climbing about 1.3 miles and gaining over 1,100 feet in elevation, the grade evens out a bit, although you never completely stop ascending, with a total elevation gain of almost 3,000 feet in just over 4 miles. We had to take it slowly, as we aren't used to the high elevation, but as long as we didn't push ourselves too hard, that wasn't a problem. The view soon opened up to a wide alpine basin sprinkled with beautiful wildflowers. This was truly a spectacular sight. There were areas where we seemed to be immersed in an ocean of yellow, and it's hard to do it justice with any kind of camera or other electronic device. After some more climbing, we reached a spectacular rock face with a breathtaking view of the basin and surrounding mountain range. We made sure to watch our step, as this part can be a little scary. On the other hand, the photo and video ops are endless around here. Once we got past this ridge, the landscape began to change, surrounding us with majestic mountain peaks in every direction. It looked like a landscape straight out of some fantasy movie. The walk was tedious, and as we reached the top of every ridge, we constantly hoped to finally catch a glimpse of Columbine Lake, only to realize that we still had more distance to cover. However, the trail had many natural gems along the way that were honestly stunning in their very own right. In addition to beautiful ridges and cliffs, this area also happened to include a serene ice cave. It was quite a sight to behold. We stepped in to take a few pictures, but didn't go very deep inside, as we were worried about a potential collapse, and that wouldn't have ended well. The further we progressed, the more beautiful, isolated, and peaceful the environment seemed to get. This trail is truly off the beaten path, providing a degree of solitude not often found in such a beautiful location just 3.5 miles from a trailhead. Usually, you would expect to see a lot more people in a place as beautiful as this. Further up the path to Columbine Lake flow several graceful rippling streams. As we were soon to find out, these streams are fed by none other than Columbine Lake itself. I had been expecting to catch a glimpse of the lake from the distance, and then rush over enthusiastically to reach it, but we ended up actually kind of stumbling on it unexpectedly, over just an unassuming ridge. I had high expectations for this hike, but what I encountered here was untamed, rugged, pristine beauty beyond my wildest dreams, surpassing even the most glamorous descriptions that I had read about Lake Columbine. It's difficult to describe this place with words or overstate the feeling of awe, peace, and tranquility that a hiker can experience in this sanctuary in the clouds, high in the mountains of Colorado. The color of the water is unlike anything I had ever seen before, even in pictures. The lake is basically a dark blue turquoise jewel, tucked away in a stunning glacial bowl surrounded by rugged ridges and peaks of over 13,000 feet. The blue color of the lake is similar to a glacier lake, but it's so brilliant that it almost seems to glow in places. Up here, you feel like you're on top of the world. Your cares, your responsibilities, and your problems all seem very far away. It's almost like you're on a different planet, and what happens back on Earth doesn't really affect what happens up here. Such was the silence, peace, and isolation that I felt up here.
Let's make this fleeting moment last forever. So tell me what you're waiting for. I'm gonna keep it frozen here forever. There's no regretting anymore. It's worth the wait, even so far away. I'm making the night mine until the day I die. No light to break when you're hanging by faith. You know what it feels like when you're dancing blind. Oh, oh.
was also hard for me to decide where to start exploring the lake. I was like a kid in a candy store. Should I go further up the ridges surrounding the basin? Should I explore under the bright blue surface of the lake with my GoPro? Or should I go check out the smaller teal lake further up that feeds into Lake Columbine? I don't think we were up at the lake more than a couple of hours, but it felt way too short. However, we also knew that the trek back would be a race against nightfall, the incoming rain clouds, and our dwindling energy and water supply. So after briefly drifting about in this wondrous alternate reality, which felt like a distant otherworldly dream, we headed back to the real world. And the real world wasted no time in reminding us of our physical limitations, starting with the very moment we began walking back. Although we had managed to rest at the lake, our feet were still very sore from the hike up the mountain. In addition, our knees were not at all happy at being forced to take the brunt of the steep hike downwards. I quickly came to regret not bringing a hiking pole, and I think the rest of the group felt the same way. Also, remember to bring bug spray for the mosquitoes during the summer. We were glad that we brought it. There aren't really any of them above the tree line, but they do abound down in the forest, near the trailhead. Overall, the hike to Columbine Lake was a magnificent experience, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I had previously heard that Columbine Lake arguably boasted equal or even better views than the traditionally more popular and overcrowded ice lakes to the south, which were closed at the time of our hike. I've never been to ice lakes in person, but I just have a hard time imagining anything that could top our amazing experience at Columbine Lake. So if you're ever in the area, consider visiting this majestic hidden gem. And just remember that you don't have to go broke or follow the crowds to get lost in nature. Sometimes, all you have to do is take the path less traveled. Thank you so much for joining me on this adventure. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Explore RC if you're enjoying my content, as well as clicking on the notification bell to be notified of any future videos that I produce. I'll see you on the next one.